And so, yeah, last week we touched on this, and so we're going to go a little bit deeper before switching gears. But this idea of integrity, and the reason why we want to get really,
God.
yeah, and we get into integrity, somatic integrity, is because this is where we're going to be able to align and magnetize much more quickly than if we're not. So integrity is when, as per review, is when your thoughts match your feelings and match your actions. In order to have integrity, first you have to be authentic. And rule number one in spirituality, this is what it says at the Oracle at Delphi and at the Temple of Apollo, and I'm going to get it here in the Honey Temple as well, is know thyself. Know thyself. And this means like knowing all of yourself, being real with yourself, really being real about, first off, more than anything, I feel like, especially in relation to this program and the work that we're doing of growing, evolving, ascending, is knowing our true desires, honoring our true desires, being authentic with ourselves about those desires. Like if we desire wealth, like we first have to admit to ourselves that we want wealth. If we want a love and a partner, we have to admit to ourselves we want a certain kind of love or partner. And also we have to be real about our gifts and our shadows, our capabilities and our limitations. So if we know we want wealth and we know we have these amazing gifts and these capabilities, amazing. But if we don't have the other side of the coin where we know what our shadows are, like how we distract or sabotage, or, our shadows around fear of showing up, fear of expressing ourselves, fear of being our full self, all of these things, these are our limitations. If we're not aware of them, then we're going to expend a lot of energy trying to make something work, when the quicker route is to come into energetic integrity and to be truly authentic with ourselves first. And that obviously is going to also support you in being authentic with others. As the external is that reflection of the internal. So yeah, let's just, as a practice of embodiment and of alignment, like list out some of your desires right now. If you have your journal in hand, what are your true desires, specifically or especially as they pertain to this program around building wealth, around building your career, business? What are your true desires first? Can you list out 3 to 5? All right, let's start hearing those desires.
I said stability, consistency, impact, luxury, financial freedom, and visibility.
Yes, beautiful. What about you, Kelsey?
My desires. Creativity, connection, like a in a variety of ways: connection, intimacy, and adventure.
I love that. And then, yeah, can we do one money desire, like one number or one, so maybe it's a month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. For example, I put like, I want to have $108,000 in my bank account next year. Like I want to see that number in my bank account from, as a result of all my work and everything that built up to that point.
I love that, Carla. The other night, I was like, Amy, why are we putting zeros at the end of our numbers? I was like, we need 8 at the end of our numbers. I don't even know. It came from the ether, but we're on the same page. Sorry, I got really excited about that. Let's see. I'll come up with a number.
Mine right now is from 3 months from now, I'd like to be consistently bringing in 10K.
Okay. Beautiful.
I'm gonna say in 5 months, I would like to be consistently receiving 18K.
I love that. And there you go. Nice. Beautiful. Yay. Let's do it. It's good to be aware of these numbers. It's good to play with these numbers, to hold these on our altar, because it's like, that's what helps us also stay motivated and, passionate, because it can be really easy to fall down back and just, obviously there's a lot of other blessings that come into our life that are not monetary or numeric, but especially as we move into sales, like the number is there as an anchor, as a target. It's not there to devalue us or to make us feel any less than who we are, but it is there to motivate us. It is there to keep us on track. It is there to support us in managing our time and recognizing, okay, like for example, if you wanted to make 18K, be receiving 18K in the month, what would that look like? Well, maybe that's, okay, 3K roll over from payment plans from the year before. Okay, now you have 15K left that you need to bring in this month. Say you have a 5K package or a 3K package, you do the math, 15 divided by 5 or 15 divided by 3. Okay, that means you have to get either 3 or 5 new clients. And then we want to break that down of like, if you want 3 to 5 new clients, how many people do I need to reach out to make that happen? And then we start tracking the numbers of how many people we reached out per week, how many of those people that we reached out to converted into a sales call and into a client. And so that's the reason why we want to start to work with these numbers, understand numbers, and not get attached to them, but see them as anchors, as targets, as tools for supporting us and staying in alignment and integrity with our true desires, right? And it's like, we want to admit that true desire of that money, of that wealth, because that is being authentic with ourselves and honoring the truth of who we are and what we came here to be. That desire can unlock that momentum to step into greater leadership, to that determination, right? To learn the skills, to get the tools, to do the practice, and to stay disciplined. And now, maybe listing just very briefly one gift, one shadow, or one capability, one limitation, or 2 that you're feeling right now. Cool. If you want to write that in the chat box, you can. Otherwise, I want you to think about how this question itself is putting you in this place of now perceiving things as this versus that. This is going to be really important, especially when it comes to speaking to prospective clients as they come in. This idea of this versus that. Let's see what you guys got here. Okay. Like, for example, like, this is where you're at. That's where you want to go. This is what you're good at. That's what your blockage is. And so the more we can start to like process information, listen and hear things and see this versus that happening, it's going to help you when it comes to speaking to people, because we're going to want to create what's called the golden gap when selling. And that's the gap between where they are and where they want to be. And so having this way of like framing things, this versus that is how we position our offer, how we position ourselves as the authority and as the best choice, essentially. And it can look like in different ways, like I shared, like, oh, this is where you're at, this is where you want to go, oh, this is like what you have going for you, and that is like what's blocking you. And of course, we're going to insert like our system as like the bridge between A and B. So A and B thinking, or this versus that thinking, it's like creating this gap that then the solution, the most evident solution, the most obvious solution is going to be what we're offering them. And like, that's what we want to educate and transmit to these potential clients, that we are the bridge between where they are and where they want to go. And it's also like you're going to come in this way too of like the this versus that thinking is also a way for us to acknowledge that and like be in this practice of deep listening and empathy where like, oh, they share this. Oh, I hear you say this, but can you think of what if we could change their perspective to see that, And so I'm kind of just foreshadowing what's going to come next, but we'll get into that more, but just to kind of start to plant that seed of this way of thinking for you. And so coming back to authenticity and this deeper embodiment that we want to be expressing, authenticity is when your outer behavior aligns with your inner experience. It's the opposite of self-betrayal or people-pleasing. So it's not doing not doing the thing even though you don't want to, or vice versa. It's also can be like authenticity is not doing the thing even though you want to do the thing. It's when you express what you actually feel, need, believe, or desire without distortion. So authenticity is like honoring that desire that you have of this consistent income by doing the things that you know you need to do in order to get there, and saying no to the things that aren't going to get you there. I actually had a dream the other night that came in really strong, and it was so fascinating. It was like a coach of mine. She came in and she was like, you need to transmit this, or like, you need to understand this very clearly and make your clients and students understand this. It's like, if you're stuck under 10, 20K months, it's all the work is literally around discipline and boundaries. Like, this is why we're stuck. It's not because anything else. I mean, of course, other things can come in, but the quickest way to make those 10 to 20K consistent months is discipline and boundaries. That's what it comes down to. If people that make more than 20K, when they're in the 20 to 50K a month bracket, at that point, their problems are going to look different. Their problems are more around delegation, around getting the right team in place, and around finding other systems to market. But for that, they're going to need teams, because at that point, it's really hard to do it on your own unless you're just selling 20K packages literally. And it's like, okay, you just have to show up to get one 20K client a month. But if you're have smaller packages, then once you hit the 20K month and you want to start making more a month, it's all about delegating your teams. And that looks like what we're going to do here in a little bit around sales conversations. It looks like hiring an opener, hiring a closer for your sales, hiring some marketing people. But if your branding isn't unlock. If you don't know how to go through this on your own, it's going to be really hard to train someone or to know how to edit or correct their behavior when it comes to hiring a team. So this is why we're learning the basics first, and just to paint a picture of what's possible moving forward. And again, our job, and especially, your job is making under 20K, 10K, is all discipline and boundaries. So anytime as you move in through life, can just keep that in the back of your head as a mantra. Like, is this really what I need to be doing in order to align to those 10 to 20K months or not? Is this connection, is this person in my life supporting me in that, or do I need to place a boundary? Do I need to place a boundary around my own energy and expenditure of energy? You get the gist of it. An authentic person is congruent and coherent. That means they don't hide parts of themselves to gain approval or safety. And when it's where in your life you can show up more authentically. Oh, no, that's a question. That was meant to be a question. Where in your life can you show up more authentically? With yourself, with your loved ones, with your audience. Having those notes for yourself. If you feel called to share, you can drop it in the chat box, but it's not necessary. And somatically speaking, authenticity is a state of regulation and safety that allows your true expression to move through your body without contraction. And so, yeah, this is the work that we're unpacking here. It's like, I want you to feel like it comes to selling, when it comes to branding, it's not a performance. It's not you try to fake it. It's like, it actually is you just being the most real version of you. It's when your nervous system feels safe, so your authentic self naturally arises. And your gestures, your tone, your movement, voice are all fluid and alive, and it's just not filtered, right? It's you just showing up, being yourself. That's why it is important to do the self-worth work of, loving yourself, honoring yourself, seeing yourself for everything that you do. And yeah, like one of the ways that you can do that is through filming yourself, is through creating content. It can be very triggering, and I'm not going to say it's not, especially at first, to see yourself on camera, to hear yourself speak. Oh my gosh. I mean, I've gone through years of this and editing and all kinds of things, and it's a practice. Public speaking is a skill. So the more you watch yourself, there are going to be pieces where you're going to want to edit, and that's okay too. Honor that. That is those shadows, or those not limitations, but just areas of growth and improvement that you can lean into. And also with that same token, it's like, can you stay in the heart? Can you see yourself for more than just those little micro, like what I'm thinking of, like things that you don't like about yourself. We all have those things we like to zoom in that we don't like, but can you zoom out and see and take all of yourself in and see yourself through the eyes of, say, your best friend or a lover? This can support you as when you see yourself on camera to just be a bit more gentle with yourself as well. And yeah, when your body's in survival mode, you fight, you flight, you freeze, you're fawn, your authenticity shuts down, and then it's replaced by performance, perfectionism, or protection. So we want to dissolve that energy of fear, a fear of showing up authentically, fear of expression, fear of being seen, so that when you do show up, it is feeling just more natural. Your body is feeling authentic. Yeah, your body's in its authenticity, feeling relaxed, present, resonant. And you're more, at first there's going to be a little bit of incongruence between your energy and your actions or what you're doing, especially when you're starting off. But with time, with practice, like even I had to say for you, Amy, like the difference between how you felt middle of the day to how you feel today is that experience. It's that arc of like, okay, you're talking about doing a thing and feeling a certain way and being this certain person to like, oh yeah, I am that certain person. I am that, I do, it's true. And then that's where like that somatically we show up and it's felt in the field as well that, oh yeah, this is natural. It's not a performance. They're not lying to us. And then coherence is what emerges from being in integrity, from having authenticity. Authenticity comes first, I would say. You have to be authentic with ourselves more than anyone else. From that, we can then embody integrity. And then coherence is like what emerges when we embody authenticity and integrity. Coherence comes from the Latin word cohere, to stick together, to be connected, to be in union. It literally means things holding together in a consistent and unified way. So at its root, coherence is about wholeness, the alignment of all of our parts into one harmonic whole. And this is a great point because it's like we may have a part of ourselves that really values, money and ambition, blah, 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 blah. And then we might have another part of ourselves that really values presence and like the spiritual nature of non-attachment. And so through that authenticity work, through knowing ourselves, and it's like coming into integrity of like, yes, I could have that part, but that part of me that values non-attachment and just spirit in general can be in coherence with the part of me that has a freaking goal and is determined to get it. And that's where that coherence emerges. It's like we're in harmony. And then when you're coherent, your inner world, your values, your truth, your vision aligns with your outer world, behavior, choices, and communication. And this is when your energy is going to feel the most clean, more consistent, and trustworthy, especially. And others will feel that integrity and feel your presence without words. They'll feel that coherence. They'll be in that field. And we'll gain more trust. We'll trust you more because they're seeing you as a coherent being, even if you are multidimensional and have different parts. And that's the kind of thing, I think I spoke to this at one point. It's like talking about the elephant in the room, like as a branded marketer, like if you have parts of yourself that may seem that are in conflict in one another, or to the normal person might feel like they're in conflict to one another. We talk about it. You say, oh, I'm a spiritual person. I'm a medicine woman, but I'm also a business person, because ultimately the mission is to empower more other medicine people, and so by speaking to the elephant in the room, we allow for people to come into our field of coherence and understand this a bit better as well. And somatic coherence is like when our body it's the physical aspect of our body actually feeling regulated and in alignment with our thoughts, with our feelings, and the energy that we're expressing. And it's the difference between talking about alignment and really truly embodying it. So yeah, somatic coherence is integrity embodied. Coherence is a result of doing the work to truly embody your authenticity and your integrity. And coherence is what emerges, and it creates this magnetism and greater alignment in your life that then, we call it flow, being in the flow state. The anatomy of somatic coherence. These are the 4 layers we want to work with. Integrity in the body. So your actions, your tone, your posture all align with your inner truth. And this is, you're going to feel when you're speaking to people, like, and you're navigating connections with others. You're not over giving, you're not over explaining or performing. You're congruent, you know your value, you know your worth, you know that what you're selling is supporting the person that you're selling it to. You know that what you have to offer is going to transform their life. So you're feeling confident in your body. And this looks like, yeah, you're not like nervous and like over explaining, over trying to sell yourself. You're in your power. It looks like emotional regulation, where your nervous system can stay open and present under that intensity, whether that's in visibility, rejection, or expansion, right? It's like you show up to that sales call, you show up to pose. Can you stay open and present under the intensity? Are you able to stay in that self-worth and confidence, even if no one likes your comment or post or whatever, or you're on a call and someone starts to like share their objections? I don't know if I have enough money. I don't know if I have enough time. I don't know. I don't know. I've tried this before and it didn't work out. It's like, this is where the somatic coherence is really important. You want to be able to emotionally regulate in that moment and be like, stay with like this, stay in this like non-attached yet present and still carrying space and position. Yeah, no longer collapse. We don't collapse, or we don't armor up trying to defend or trying to lean in too hard. We stay present. We stay in the connection, and we don't take it personal. What we're gonna do is really try to come back to the person, and anytime they relay an objection, we want to bring them back to their vision. That's where that this and that thinking comes in. It's like, okay, they're gonna say like, they're going to start to feel a little nervous, maybe about the price. You can just tell in their voice, they're feeling a little shaky. And this is where we use that to then lean in and say, hey, but like, remember the vision? Like, we want to get them back excited about the higher vision, about their goals, and be like, but this is what you want, right? Like, this is what you've been working toward, like, and remind them how close they are to getting that thing. And all they need is this to fix these few things that, like, we're going to take care of that. We're going to handle that in our work together. Oh, I know you've been desiring true love, like, and it just hasn't worked out. Well, we're going to make it happen, and when they want to lean back, we want to lean in and just remind them of their future version, of their desires, of their dreams, and of how possible and realistic it is for them to have it happen. And then, yeah, the energetic congruence is going to come when you have that internal confidence as a facilitator too, to create that, to deliver that transformation for them. So your vibration matches your message. And this is other ways that energetic congruence comes in. You're no longer saying yes when your energy says no. So for example, someone tries to say, well, can you like do this for me for free? It's like, no, if your answer is no, it's no. And you're not selling from scarcity, but from safety. You let them know, okay, well, no, I can't do that, but I'm offering you this option instead. And, that's where you have like maybe, a low ticket offer. Like, we don't market the low ticket offer, but we have that low ticket offer in the back of our pocket just in case, at last resort, we're like, okay, well, we have this one thing that's a lot less. And why don't you just try going through that? And that keeps them in your audience bubble and still like consuming your information. And it keeps them as a warm client / hot client that then is more likely to invest maybe down the line if they really enjoyed the work that you delivered, even the smaller or small ticket, low ticket offer. And then this looks like authentic expression. You can communicate from embodiment, not strategy. Obviously, it's a little bit nuanced, but the embodiment is like, you've done the practice. It's going to come over time. The more you do this, the more the strategy is going to go away. At first, the strategy feels very present because you're learning it, but after you learn it, then it's just embodiment. And then you have this framework of speaking and teaching and pitching and selling that's encoded and truly just inside of you. And so your message moves through your body and it's not felt like it's rehearsed. Again, it's going to feel a little shaky at first, and we're going to be moving toward this somatic coherence. I don't expect you to be all of this at the beginning. No way. That definitely takes some practice. And this is the key formula. A little star in the middle represents that magnetic field that we're going to create that's going to attract and align us to our soul clients when we're experiencing all of these in our embodiment, how we're showing up and in our messaging and our marketing. And also, okay, this is kind of comes back to the cells. It's like when speaking to your audience, it's always about what's in it for them. I want to think like a buyer, but act like a seller. Yeah, I guess one of my slides got deleted. I didn't get, I was like, there was a note that I wanted to share, but I think it got removed. So the note was, so selling. So one of the biggest parts, I would say like right now, especially the work that you're going to be doing and you're starting with is like selling is actually just you selling yourself. Like that's the work of coming into this coherence and authenticity, integrity is you selling yourself. Like you literally knowing your worth, knowing your value, knowing the transformation that you're capable of delivering, of the magic that you are, and truly believing in yourself. And so first you have to sell yourself on yourself, if that makes sense. This is your branding. This is what branding is. This is your attraction content. So this is the content that you are creating to attract engagement, to attract new people into your field, to attract just anyone to see, like anyone that likes your post is like interested in what you're having to share, even anyone that sees your stories, especially if they comment, that they're like resonating with it. And so that's attraction content. This is branding content. And this is you selling yourself on yourself. And so just think of it that way, of like that, this third person, omnipresent perspective of you getting to really witness yourself. And that's why I keep coming back to the practice of like creating content, recording yourself, seeing yourself, being in your practice, like really observing who you are, like on a day-to-day basis. Like what is your method? Like what is the mechanism? What are the tools that you're actually truly embodying each and every day that make you who you are and that make you this unique and amazing gifted person that has mastered your unique craft, whatever the areas that you're focusing on, beauty, authenticity, connection, intimacy, somatics, etc. And then sharing that, creating content that shares that highlights that. And so first step, sell yourself on yourself. Like love yourself, see yourself, get to know yourself. Identity, ego. Yes, love your ego. Integrate that ego. Love it for who it is. Love it. And brand it with the mechanism, with the method. And then the second part is going to be the sales conversation pieces, the marketing. So marketing is what is conversion content. And so one is attraction content, branding. The other part of content is conversion content, which is marketing. And this is where you're speaking to your ideal client. And the idea here is not to you to sell to your ideal client, is the idea, the highest form, the highest expression of sales is you creating content that sells the client themselves. Does that make sense? So the content and marketing content is going to be so good. The idea is that it speaks to your ideal person so well that when they read them, they're like, oh my God, this person is talking to me. I want what they're freaking putting out. So we're selling ourselves on ourselves and our clients, our potential prospect clients are selling themselves on what we are selling. And there's a way to do that. There is a way to get to that place where the person we're speaking to is literally like, what's the price? I want to know what you're offering. Like, they're selling themselves, right? They can feel how well you're going to support them because you literally know who they are. You know what their troubles are. You know what their challenges are. You know what their gifts are. You know where they're at in the journey. And your marketing content, your conversion content is all about positioning yourself as that person that truly knows this client avatar, this dream client so freaking well, because you're the expert of that journey that they're on. Cool. Well, I hope that makes sense. And that's really the true like model of selling. There's this book that I have that I recommend that you get, and you know, also just for yourself to, you know, sales is there's nothing new about sales. Like sales is a skill that's been around since the beginning of time. Sales psychology is something that once you start to learn, which we're going to go into a lot of in the next month here together. It's like, you're going to see it's literally all around us. Like propaganda is sales. And once you've probably already seen already since you've been creating these posts, right? It's like, now you can kind of see like, oh yeah, that's what that person's been doing this whole time. And you've been freaking eating it up by following them because they're like literally speaking to you. And you're like, oh my God, this pattern interrupt. I was doing something. Now I'm like feeling resonance with this person's message. Okay, I'm going to go follow them. Oh my God, what's this next offering that they have, you know? And that's like what we're aspiring to, right? To do is to create that type of energetic magnetism in our posts and our content to bring people in. And this is the new way of selling. Like we're in this time where like now more than ever, people can perceive subtle energy, right? People can feel someone more than ever. And so we can use that to our advantage when we do that mindset work, when we do that somatic work, to really align ourselves and be in integrity with our desires, our visions, and also what we came here to do, recognizing that we're not going to be perfect at first, but we give ourselves that permission to be not perfect, to learn, to grow, to stumble, to be a little messy at the beginning. And we take people on that journey with us by being authentic and true, and, you know, our prices matching our level of expertise to a certain, you know, to a degree as well at the beginning. You know, once we get those few clients and we've confirmed to ourselves, to the universe, we got it. Okay, we raise our prices a little bit more, and we find that sweet spot where people are still coming in. They can, and they're, you know, it's aligned for them and it's also aligned for us. But there's this book called The New Model of Selling to an Unsellable Generation. I'll just put it here. And so this talks about how it's so the old model of selling, of pressuring people into buying something, you know, this idea of like the salesperson that we have is a result of these old models of selling where people are cold calling, you know, literally have no idea if we want something or not, and are just beginning a conversation without any permission. Are doing like sales tactics. They're lying, you know, about the outcomes that and the promises that they're selling. All of that is this old, outdated model of selling that obviously has left like a scar imprint in humanity and consciousness around what even sales mean. And I like this book because these men that wrote it, they're talking about this new model of selling is seeing sales as a win-win for everyone, right? And it's learning how to speak, how to communicate, how to show up as a trustworthy, present being, right? And that's a huge, that's one of the biggest takeaways I want you to have around sales conversations. It's like sales conversations. Are you embodying deep listening, deep presence, and deep empathy, and even curiosity? I would say those four: listening, empathy, curiosity. What was the other one? Presence, right? Because what happens is when we're trying to sell or talk to someone and about what we're offering, it's really easy to lose presence because now we're in our mind and we're trying to think about what we're going to say next or how we can like convince them or change guide the conversation toward what we want. But that's the quickest way to lose that power of being present and the connection that we have with this soul right now. And so rather than like pitching at someone, like we present the offer in the marketing, in the content that we're putting out in the world. But when it comes to a sales conversation, we want to really practice listening to the person, really being with the person. And the more we can listen to what they're saying and then relay it back, the more that person is going to feel the power of being in a container with you. That person is going to be like, oh my God, this person is giving me the presence that I don't get from anyone else in my life. This person is actually listening. Oh my God, this person actually cares about my dreams and about my desires. And so through that deep listening, we're going to be like relaying that energetic container, that space holding that they truly desire. And that's why coaching is so valuable beyond like the method, the mechanisms, the tools, all that. It's like coaching and being a mentor or guide is just this really sacred role of showing up for someone and really deeply listening and caring for who they are right now, and also caring and deeply being committed to where they want to go. So I'm going to pull up the Somaticka sales playbook that you guys are going to get, and we're going to begin to dive into. Here we go. So sales, the Somaticka way, is not pushing, convincing, or performing. It's about presence, the art of being so attuned to your body and truth that connection becomes inevitable. And so that was what we were talking about just now with the coherence and the integrity, right? You're so attuned to yourself, your body, your truth, and what you have to offer. You're spreading that out into the world. That field of coherence is bringing in connections that are inevitable. And every sales interaction is a practice of deep listening, curiosity, and empathy. A space where truth can reveal itself naturally. And just, as a reflection right now, notice how your body feels when now you start thinking or imagining sales as an act of listening rather than a persuading. Can you feel that energetic shift of like, oh yeah, this is what you're about to lean into. It's not so scary. Actually, you've been doing this all your life. Or maybe you haven't been doing it. And maybe this is exciting because then you're like, wow, like I didn't know I just had to adjust this one little thing around my embodiment to freaking transform my business and my intuitive business into an actual now strategy-based business. And I think this is where you may notice, and I notice it a lot in the New Age community, where we have a lot of beautiful artists, creative geniuses, facilitators showing up that probably never, some did of course, but maybe never had like real professional business training. And I speak because I'm one of those people. So all I focused on was the branding, on the selling, but never the actual sales psychology that was necessary to create more sales, to create more of these client connections. Because I was so focused on me and my expression and me showing up authentically and me being liberated enough to show up, and just so stuck in like my own self-worth journey that I actually wasn't even listening to my audience. I wasn't listening and present as much as I could have been. And especially like, I know this from a couple of years ago with the people that were showing up that could have very well have been clients, but I wasn't focused on them. I was focused on me and my healing. And so this is this piece where it's like why selling is actually a sacred service too, because now we're really coming out of the self and we're becoming almost to an extent like selfless in the selfless, because we're really zooming in on our client, not on ourselves anymore. Like we've done the work, we've empowered ourselves, we know who we are, we feel good about it, we're liberated, we love ourselves, we can show up. Okay, great. Now serve that to another person. Help someone else come to that place. So now we need to turn the lens and start to deeply listen and deeply be deeply curious about our people, about them. We've done the healing. Okay. I mean, there's always going to be more healing, but yeah, now it's not about us anymore. Our lens is freaking going to be super focused on our ideal client. Core principles are connection over conversion. So yes, we have those numbers as ways to, get just strategic about how many people to reach out to, but we're not getting obsessed over just like getting sales. Like we are deeply going to embody this true curiosity and empathy, and we're going to prioritize the connection, the coherence, the truth over scripts and outcome. And that's what people are going to feel in these somatic sales. It's like every person that we meet can potentially be a client, right? We're going to take them down that funnel. They can also be a friend, and especially working with other sensitive beings, this is why you're in this work, because we're in this field of working with sensitive beings. We want to see our sales connection, our connections as like planting seeds, right? And really staying in that non-attached energy of like just being open to whatever the connection is meant to be. And so we plant the seed, we stay present, but we also frame ourselves as the authority, as the coach, by moving the conversation down the line that we're going to be going through toward the sale, right? Framing ourselves as the coach, as the educator, as the authority, because if we don't do this from the beginning, it's going to be really easy to fall into the friend zone. And yes, while some of our friends can be clients, it's also, once you're too down the friend zone, it can be really hard to then bring them into as a client, because then they're getting the coaching and the access to you for free. And why would they pay then? Now that you're homie, then they're getting your energy. And so, but this all starts just from definitely a place of non-attachment at the beginning, this being curious about why this person's in your field, or why are you attracted to them, or what brought you to their page? What about them? Why do you want to connect? And you can have, your intentions of like, this person looks like someone that would really benefit from my offering. Let me begin a connection. Let me say, hey, what's up? Let me see where they're at, and not try to pitch them the sale right at the beginning. And so listening as a leadership skill. Deep listening allows you to feel your client truly is, and respond with presence. So much of coaching and selling is listening and relaying back to the person that you're speaking to what what they're saying, what they want. Like, remember we talked about integrity and coherence. Okay, they're saying they want to better their love life and their marriage. Well, what are they doing about it? Right? This is why it's important for us to embody those concepts first, because then we're going to work with these concepts to help others come into those concepts as well. Empathy before strategy. Empathy opens the door, strategy guides the path. So empathy before strategy, meaning there's an acronym LEA. Listen, empathize, and agree. And this is a tool that I learned similar to like nonverbal communication when it comes to relationships. And it's this tool of like, when someone is speaking to you, we want to listen. We want to empathize. We want to put ourselves in their shoes. And then agree. Agree doesn't necessarily mean, oh, I agree with what they say, their truth. Agree is agreeing to their truth, like agreeing to understand that that's what they believe in. And if it's, say, in a relationship context where two people are like having a discussion, opposing views, it's like, this is where the nonverbal communication comes in, like agreeing with them. Oh, I hear what you're saying, and this is what I believe. But matching their tonality, right? Or if they're like scared or they're experiencing fear, like you empathize, you lean in with your tone of voice, and you recognize, hey, I hear you. I see that. I understand why you're feeling that way. I get it. I was there before. My client Susie was there before. No, I understand that's the agreement, right? And the empathy, the agreement, you're relaying back to them. And then you pose then. After that is when you would say like, oh yeah, I went through that. And also this is how I changed that particular symptom or that particular thing that's happening, or this is how my client, like I said, Betty, transformed that into blah, 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 the outcome that you're selling. And curiosity creates clarity. It replaces control. So this is kind of like a secret weapon, a secret tool when you're doing the sales calls. It's like, if you find yourself getting kind of nervous or feeling your own energy, like just lean back, listen to what they say, and then respond with the question. Tell me more about that. I think I also talked about this, and I want to make a note of it because I want to make sure to write it on the slides. It's like, the reason why so many people that are in our friend zone could have been clients or vice versa is because we started to coach and teach them without them being in an actual container. So that looks like having a conversation with someone, truly listening, being empathetic, curious about their journey. And rather than inviting them into a container with us that has a sacred exchange, reciprocity built into it, we started coaching them and teaching them for free. We solved their problem without them giving us anything back. And so every time now when you're having a conversation with someone new that you feel that you can support and falls into that area of like possible client, every time you want to go to coach and teach, replace that with the question, with curiosity. And that is going to be huge for the person that is on the other side. In that's where the coaching really is beginning. You're transforming their perspective. You're making them question their certainty about themselves. And when they're uncertain about what they know about themselves, about the skills they have, that uncertainty is that makes them want to lean in to your certainty about what you're offering, that's going to help them. And we're releasing the control, right? It's like they're selling themselves versus us selling them by us being curious. We think that by coaching them and teaching them, we're going to sell them. No, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that can receive and take without giving, or, maybe aren't just financially there. So they're going to try to do that. But that's why our energetics are so important, our boundaries, right? Our discipline, because our discernment, because now we're in this new level, this new playing game where our energy, we're valuing our energy and we're seeing its worth, and we're not going to just give away our energy anymore, because all of that energy that we give away without receiving is telling the universe, like, I'm not open to receive. I just want to give. No, we want to be open to receive. We have these ways for us to receive through payment, through our offers, through people investing into what we're promising them and into themselves. And coherence is magnetic. When your energy, message, mission are in harmony, people feel it. Service is sacred. Sales is not extraction, it's initiation. We guide, we don't push. And in traditional sales, we talk about closing a sale, and that's just the language that we use for, like, okay, the sale is closed, the money's in the bank, the payment is on its way. But even thinking beyond that in a more meta or holistic way, it's actually, when we close a sale, we're actually initiating a new relationship. We're actually opening a portal of transformation. We're opening up infinite possibilities, potential. So in this new way, this new model of selling, we're looking at service as sacred, because we're serving this person's highest and greatest good. And we're selling. Selling is just us sharing what we have to offer. And we're listening, and we're curious, and we're placing and positioning our offer as that person's best bet on them getting what they want quicker and better, faster. And yeah, closing isn't closing. It's the beginning of a whole new fucking reality that we're going to create together with our clients. And so, as a reflection question for you, where in your business and in your business conversations or connections can you bring more empathy and curiosity? Can you see where perhaps there's more room for that, for you to be more curious, for you to listen more, for you to be more empathetic? Cool. So section 1, the art of opening conversations. Somaticka sales begin before the sales call. It begins in how you open a conversation. And you want to meet potential clients with grounded presence, genuine curiosity, no agenda, just to start, so that the energetics aren't weird from the get-go. Like, you are going to qualify your prospective clients through the questions that you ask. Not everyone is going to get access to you. Like, your access, your time is also valuable. So you're going to qualify your prospective clients by asking certain questions, and by looking at their profile page, looking at how they're showing up, kind of getting a read for who they are, and seeing if they're a possible match or not. It's also good to stay open. We don't want to assume too much, because that can also get us in trouble, but that's where the questions come in. And that's why we stay open, and we plant seeds of connection with, people maybe that we don't think might need our product, but maybe there's something that's attracting us to them. And by us kind of having that genuine grounded presence, that genuine curiosity, starting free from the agenda, just let's see what happens. Let's try it. Let's initiate a connection with someone. This is going to communicate to the person they're safe, that they're safe, and that they see them, and it's going to open up the permission slip for you to take them down the sales funnel, or the sales call funnel, or conversation. And as it says, like, the sales begins before the sales call. The sales call is like the bottom of the funnel, as we talked about last week. The conversation begins with, say, the magnetic content that you're creating. When they like your comment, when they like your post, outside of family or people that are already your clients, pretty well, the difference between someone that's like just there supporting you, cheering you on because they're your homie versus someone that's like new in the field or someone that should be in that student client role. Those people, when they like your post, when they comment, this is their higher self saying their permission for you to connect with them. So that's where the conversation begins. Ideally, it's not always going to begin there, but it can. The other strategy that now we're going to be implementing, installing into your business, and we're focusing on this next phase or this next month, is the art of selling in the chat. Sell by chat, sell in the DMs. So this doesn't have to be through social media, Instagram. We're obviously going to use this as the example. This could be happening also in real time, with real people and live conversations that you're connecting with day to day. And I think about you, Kelsey, it's like you're probably there's probably opportunities for you to have these sales and these cash injections just from the people that you're interacting in person. And so, you can begin initiating this and putting this into practice, even if you're not sharing online. But the idea is to have both very strongly, because especially if you want to work online or you want to have that freedom of being able to work anywhere in the world, then online sales is that gateway for that. And so, the conversation can start, simply liking someone else's post, following new people. That was something that was huge for me. Like I was constantly waiting for for new clients to organically find me, and my numbers grew organically, passively for years. And now I'm actively going out and starting connections with new people. I'm going on other people's pages that are interested in the same things that I am. For example, I think I shared with this last time too. It's like if there's an influencer or coach doing something similar to what you're doing, go to their post, whatever stopped your attention. Okay, check it out. What was it that they posted? If it's really cool, you put that in your hooks file, like, oh, these are cool posts. You save them. I want to reproduce them or make it my own. But then also you can go into the comment section and seeing all the people that like and comment that post. And then you could do a little research and say, okay, let me go into this person. All right. Oh, they're a coach too, or maybe they're not a coach, or maybe they're, you just check out their page. You do a little research on them. And then if they look like someone that fits into that dream client avatar category that you created, you follow them and you like a post. That's also initiating a sales funnel conversation. It's like you like them, you follow them, hearts, they're in your feed and you're like, they're in your field. If your page is strong, this is why it is important to have a strong page. They're going to look at your page and they're also going to, create a really quick judgment about who you are. And if they like what you're putting out, they like your energy, they like your content, they're going to follow you back. And now there's a two-way conversation happening, two-way connection. Now they follow you. Okay, maybe you reach out to them. Hey, thanks for the follow. And they're going to say, yeah, you too. Thanks for the follow. And then you can to get a little deeper, to show that you're listening to them, that you actually are paying attention to them. You look at their posts, you check out what they're sharing with the world, and you mention a post that they shared and you say, wow, I really resonate with that post that you shared, or I love how you're working on that. Tell me more. We're going to talk a little bit more about how to initiate that here in a second, but you get the idea. And before you even reach out to people, you yourself can take a moment to take a breath and connect to your intention. Are you reaching out to connect or to close? When we're just opening conversations, and this is the role of an opener. And so like I mentioned before, like high ticket coaches and influencers that are already making 20K at least a month or above, like they're in this role, and maybe even 10K if they're on it, are going to start to invest on people that open these conversations for them. This is something that you could pass on to say and train a an assistant to do this for you, to open these conversations for you. And then when you have the money and you have the organic attraction that's pulling in new leads, whether that's through organic content or maybe one ad, then you can also hire a closer where they close the calls, because that's what they're experts at, are closing, which is really what I'm teaching you right now. Is like pulling people's desires out of them and then closing them on their own desires. Then yeah, they would be doing the closing if you were at that place. And usually they take a commission, say 10% of your offering. But the strategy isn't to start with that first. The strategy is to get your branding on lock, for you to learn this for yourself so that you also understand who you're speaking to, who your ideal client is. And you also have these skills of how to truly be genuinely curious and open connections with new people. So as I said, the connection starts before the sales call, way before, and it starts with a like, with a follow, with the, hey, I like what you're doing. I see you, resonating with their posts. And this is where sales becomes the art of seduction. I mean, as women, we know this, like we play this game with men all the time, or whatever our romantic preference is. It's like, we lean in, we pull back. We don't come in full force. I want you. I mean, sometimes that is one way to do it, but usually there's a bit of a dance. Ooh, they like my post. Oh, I like their post. Oh, we match, right? We agree with their energy, right? This is the LEA, listening, empathizing, agree, and we're agreeing with their energy. If they come at us with a lot of juiciness, openness, love, then we're going to feel more open, loving, and we're going to lean in quickly. But if they're a little more reserved, right, we're going to match that. Oh, we're going to play that game. This is something that we already have inside of us. And actually, the sales psychology was born from like relationship and dating psychology. They're actually very much one and the same. And in a lot of books, we'll talk about this as you dive into the art of sales, which is, I find actually quite exciting and interesting, because since I know it's something that I never have given energy to, it's like, I know that on the other side of learning sales is all this potential that I haven't unlocked yet. So it's been really cool to learn, and I love, I get to share it now and teach you too. But yeah, it's this art. Sales becomes this dance, and it can be this seductive, fun, flirtatious practice that we're now also playing, not just with, our desired romantic kind of partner, but also our clients as well. And this is a very feminine way of approaching it, right? We're playful, we're curious, we're flirting with our girls, like honestly, there's nothing more fun and exciting to be in powerful contained containers with other women that are your soul clients, your soul sisters, and that are in it to win it as much as you are. And that's when freaking energy exponentially grows quickly, when we're all aligned and attuned to that same energetic frequency and momentum, right? And I mean, I love it. I love you guys. I love you women. I love working with you. I love working with my other one-to-one clients as well. And it's the best. And by there being this container where there is a sacred exchange and reciprocity, I get to show up even more in that container than I would in just a regular friendship container. And vice versa, you get to receive more. And so I want you to really feel into that as well. It's like how much more potential unlocks when we are in these contained containers and there's sacred reciprocity. The wins, the growth, the abundance is exponential, because there's an honoring there of the work that it took to get to that place. And on both sides. So sacred conversation, the practice of presence in sales. When someone enters a sales conversation with you, they're stepping into your energetic field. Your nervous system sets the tone. Your role is to hold safety, clarity, and coherence. You listen not to respond, but to feel them, to be with them. Presence is the most powerful sales skill you can have. And just noticing, this is something you can practice, how your breath is when you're listening to someone without planning your reply. And if you find yourself I'm going to reply, come back to listening. Listen, listen, listen. It's going to be really helpful to have your notes. At the beginning, you're going to want to have the framework, the playbook there. It's you want to show up to a sales conversation prepared, like knowing the plan that you're going to take people through, because especially at first, it's not second nature. Like, you're changing the way you're relating to people, that you're connecting and communicating. And if you haven't been doing this, then yeah, it's going to take work to transform your regular way of being to this way of being. So have the notes, have the reminders. If they're saying things, take notes of what they're saying so that you can really relay it back. And then when you're ready to invest in something like Otter AI, you can have an app that is transcribing your sales calls. And this is going to be huge, because your sales calls are going to be where you're going to get even more inspiration for posts, because what your sales calls are going to educate you on what your dream clients' objections are, what their desires are. And so when you record the calls and then you have the transcription, you get added value, because one, you get to see where maybe you could have answered better or responded better, or maybe, turn their objection into possibility better, etc. We're going to fumble at the beginning. This is normal. Like, don't take it personal. Like, you're learning. And so it's going to be messy at first, but having these tools like that we have now, I mean, they didn't have as 100 years ago, where we can record and transcribe our calls. We're going to get so much added value, because one, we get to go back and see where we can go do better. And a mistake is never an error. It's just a lesson, an opportunity. So our mistakes are also going to teach us where we have room to grow. And then, as I shared, when you're on these sales calls, you're going to be taking your dream client through their dreams, their desires, and you're also going to get to know their objections, their fears. And all of this is going to inform you of who you're speaking to, which is going to translate to more content for you to post. Like, when you go to post this conversion content, right? Marketing content, you're going to be speaking to your client, to that client that maybe you went on a call with, hasn't confirmed yet. But if they're thinking that thing, if they have those objections, there's probably 10 other people that are thinking and feeling the same thing as well. And then integration and client care, post-sale relationship and return. After client says yes, the real journey begins. And the nervous system opens. Safety must be anchored. Integration is about maintaining connection, celebrating growth, and allowing the client to complete with. And this is going to come at the end, so we'll come back to that. Integration codes is, you want to feel safe. Safety is the soil. So you want to feel safe in your body more than anyone before going on to this call. You are the anchor. That's why that safety, the authenticity, the integrity is so important. You are holding that vision for them, and you're holding also yourself, and you're knowing of that you can help that person transform their life. So that's why that self-love, self-worth piece is so important, because you cannot falter when they come at you with their doubts. And you also need to hold them to their higher self when their lower self is wanting to play small and just stay small and continue doing what they're doing. If they book a sales call with you, it's because there's a part of them that wants to change or fix the issue that they have. If they're curious enough to go on a sales call with you, we want to take that as like sacred, because that means that they are ready to transform, but maybe their shadow, their limitations, their, all the things that are blocking them are keeping them where they're at. And then in the sales call, we're already taking people through a coaching transformation, because during the sales call, we're going to, if they have strong, limiting beliefs, we're going to want to help transform those limiting beliefs on the call, transform their mindset to see things through our perspective, and also help them see that our method is the most safe bet for them to get their desired outcome. Princess is the portal. The more attuned you are, the more your clients expand. they expand because by your presence, they're going to feel safe. They're going to feel heard. Their heart's going to open. Their energy, body's going to soften, and they're going to be listening. Completion creates coherence. Proper closure amplifies integrity and magnetism. And this is when, like, you want to celebrate. When someone says yes, like, celebrate, honor them, like, cheer them on, send them, little hearts, emojis, whatever, like, because that person just said yes to their higher self, to their potential. And that is a fucking huge thing, because so many people stay stuck and in comfort. So when finally someone says yes, you celebrate them. And you can begin that with the call like that too. Like, if someone said yes to a sales call, celebrate them for honoring their higher self. And like, the more you connect them to that higher self timeline, that version of them in the future that has already made that money, that has already had that partnership, that already has amazing relationships and is showing up in their purpose, etc., the easier for them to choose from their higher self than their lower self. So that's the strategy. It's like bringing them to their higher self, reminding them of the vision. What would your higher self say? Imagine yourself 2 years from now. What's your higher self telling you to do right now? That's a really powerful way to to switch an objection. I saw a comment here. Oh, it's just a daughter. Yeah. And then connection is currency. Every genuine relationship as well. Every connection is potential. It's a seed that's planted. When you like someone's post, when you follow someone new. So as I was sharing, and I guess I might say this earlier, it's like when I add new people and then they follow me back, my audience grows too. I can go back and remove people also, so that I don't have like all these people that I'm following that I don't know. But this is one of the ways that people organically grow their audience too, is they follow people that they genuinely feel, qualify as a prospective lead. You're also probably going to add people that are genuinely just interesting. And don't be afraid to offer or sell someone that you feel is your peer as well, or maybe even more ahead of you in some area of your life. There's always going to be someone that's better, richer, more a bit able at something, and you're going to always be better at something else. This is just the name of the game. There's no comparison. It's like, this is being unique and amazing. We're all unique and amazing at one thing, and we're going to be really good at some things and not so good at others. And so don't be afraid to also reach out to people that you feel are your peer or even a little more ahead of you. Maybe at first, you don't do that, but like, especially as you get the hang of your offer and how to sell it, then yeah, go for it. And this is how people start to raise their prices, raise the value of their containers, and start to sell to even more high ticket customers. And yeah, when you start a connection with someone, say you send a message to them, if they don't respond back, it's okay. Like, you planted a seed. It doesn't mean you can't ever respond back to them again. It just means, okay, they're not available right now. Everyone's super busy. Everyone has full lives. If they liked your comment, even if they hearted it, that is permission to maybe reach back out in a different moment. And you can do this a couple different times. This is where the non-attachment, the not taking things personal comes in. Okay, maybe you reached out to them, they didn't respond, but then later, a week or 2 weeks, maybe a month, a year from now, they like your post. Okay. You remember this person, you go back to the messages, you see the messages, you write to them, see where they're at. And so this is going to be huge, especially right now at the beginning, is to kind of, when you create content, to notice the people that are liking, that are engaging, that are following. And maybe you haven't had a conversation with them one-to-one in a long time. Well, guess what? You're in a new place. They're in a new place, energetically embodying something different. Why not just revisit that connection and plant a seed, say hello, say what's up, and go from there. Cool. So this was the intro to the sales. We're going to be going deeper and deeper into this starting next week. Yeah. How are you ladies feeling about this conversation? Are you there yet still?
Good. This is great.
Yeah, it's helpful. It's a lot of information, but I feel hopeful in it, and I know that it will integrate into this new version of myself and yeah, give me a new lens through which to see and communicate and um, yeah, move through the world.
Beautiful. Yay. Yeah, it is a lot. You're not gonna expect, I don't expect you, and you shouldn't expect yourself to learn this overnight. We're going to be just like we did with the last 6 weeks where we're really talking about posting and branding. We're now going to be taking some time to really hone in on this, but doesn't mean not to do the other things. It's still really important that you do the post as well, because you can see how that language is the script, the foundation of what you're going to take into the calls as well.
Yeah, I'm like need to make some posts. I feel like me not posting at this point now is like me ignoring my boyfriend or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
I
I'm in
love
a
that.
relationship and I feel like I haven't given it any attention, and I feel like, oh my gosh, I need to keep my visibility up. And I had a couple like people with a lot of followers, like people that I want to be in the field with, start following me. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to put content out so that like I can be in conversation, at least energetically.
Yeah, and that's why like getting the I help statement tuned, or your identity, however you want to position the bio as, whether as more identity focused or help focused, I help statement focused. That's really important. And then those 3 top posts of your story, your method, what you're teaching, and then eventually a client result, or, very soon if you're already giving out some, trial runs for people.
Yeah, I feel, should I change my I help statement that I put on my Instagram now? Like that we kind of clarified my newer offer. Like it's not really as much Dark Night of the Soul alchemization. It's more
Yeah.
sovereignty, embodiment of the queen, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Make it more pertaining to this new offer.
Okay.
Yeah. And the soul alchemy part is like, that's going to be one phase of the journey. There's no way that you're not going to address that, but maybe that's
Yeah.
not what you're leading with.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, my loves. Beautiful to see you today. I'm going to release you, and I'm going to be dropping a little homework assignment for you to do here in the next few days, or maybe by today if I get it done.
Cool.
All right.
Thank
Talk
you, Carla.
soon. Bye.
Bye.